Hi, everybody. Welcome to Prison Cuisine, a show where we talk about crime and do general documentaries. My name is Caroline. Today, we're looking at the notorious killer, Nikko Jenkins, that went on a murder spree in the fall of 2013 that killed 4 people and lasted 10 days. Nikko Jenkins is notorious and most easily identifiable by his face tattoos and scars that he did himself while serving 10 years in prison on an armed robbery charge, which is unrelated to the murder spree in 2013. In the video for his interrogation for the murder, you can already see that the scarring and facial mutilations was all very aggressive and swollen, which makes him out to be some sort of scary monster and or goblin, like a persona he had created. So he gets arrested for the murder. And then 2 years later, while he's awaiting the sentencing for his crimes in the murder, he tries to carve 666 on his forehead. But since he's using a jail cell mirror, it comes out backwards. So it comes out 999. A quick side note to the 666 comment and the mutilation. The Omaha Herald said, Jenkins reportedly told Douglas County he carved the 666, known in the biblical book of Revelations as the number of the beast, because he's not receiving treatment for his mental illness. He asked the judge to order the Nebraska State Patrol to investigate. And another thing, Jenkins said that he acts under these voice commands of the serpent god, right? I don't know how that correlates to the 666 because that's the Bible and Revelations, which are 2 different things. And the prosecutors have disputed that Jenkins is faking it. Well, psychiatrists are split over whether he's schizophrenic. About half say he could be, while the other half say he's faking it. So let's get into the murders. Just for reference, a quick timeline of events. Nico gets out of prison on July 30th, 2013 with full-on face tattoos and mutilations for his armed robbery charge. It's a 10-year sentence. So that includes 2 other charges and convictions of assaulting a peace officer and assault in the 2nd degree. 12 days later is when the murder spree really started. On the early morning hours of August 11, 2013, a Sunday, police were called to a location in Omaha, Nebraska, and found 2 bodies, one of Jorge Luis and Juan Pena, deceased in a pickup truck at a park, Spring Lake to be exact. The 2 men were lured by Nico's sister and cousin to go to Spring Lake Park to perform sexual acts in exchange for money. Cuisine Bardot, Nico's cousin, would later tell police all the details. During trial, the prosecutor stated that Jenkins shot the victim in the head with a shotgun loaded with deer slugs. The victims were robbed with their billfolds taken. An autopsy would later show that Ruiz died of a single gunshot wound to the head. They were both shot in the head that night. Nico claimed that he did these killings to appease the Egyptian god Apophis. Nico's cousin, Cuisine Bardot, was a key witness in this entire case. She testified in all 3 of those cases. During the trial, the judge said that Bardot put herself at risk by testifying for the state, and it would have been much tougher to convict everyone involved in the 2013 killing spree without her help. Later, I'll go over the details. On to the 3rd murder. 8 days later, Nico kills his friend Curtis Bradford in a robbery gone wrong. Nico and his sister enlist the help of his friend Curtis Bradford. Now, court records say the prosecutor started his remarks by saying Bradford showed up in a dark outfit with gloves, and he sported a 9mm high-point carbonite rifle as they went to a location. Once they got to the location where he was murdered, at 1804 North 18th Street. I will show the location in my YouTube so you can go down and check it out. If you're driving, please do not. So there was some sort of altercation, and Jenkins' sister shot him once in the head. And not to be outdone, Nico said, "This is how you do it," and proceeded to use a shotgun with a deer slug. Now, as the prosecutor is recounting this, Nico is saying, "Liar," under his breath. Even during the first murder testimony, Nico continues to say, "Liar, liar." The next murder is pretty senseless. I have to warn you guys, it's gonna be bad because I don't like when innocent people get hurt. At the time of her death, Andrea Kruger was 33 and a mother of three. Three. Interesting. The youngest kid was 22 months. That's pretty messed up. So a couple days later, after they finish killing Curtis Bradford, it's 2 a.m. and Andrea Kruger is wrapping up her shift at the Deja Vu and Lab. And I know what you guys are thinking, but this is not the same Deja Vu lounge that you would find in California. This is Omaha, Nebraska, and it is a sports bar and grill. She was driving her 2012 gold Chevy Traverse when she came to a stop at the intersection of 168th and 4th Street. Again, if you guys are driving, please wait until you guys are stopped to check out my YouTube, and I will show you guys where she died. When she came to a stop at that intersection, she crossed paths with Nico, who was riding around with his sister, his uncle, and his cousin. Yeah, that same cousin. When he was heard saying he wanted to get that SUV to rob and jack other people, Nico got out of his vehicle, pulled Andrea out of her vehicle, and used the same deer slug to shoot her in the head, neck, and back. That intersection would be where police would find her later. The sad part about that story was Michael Kruger, her husband, said he was texting his wife earlier that night because their 4-year-old daughter had a fever. And he was giving her medicine, and he said she did respond to him around midnight and a half. And I know what you guys are thinking, but midnight and a half means a lot to me instead of saying noon and a half. But she never responded to his last text around 1 a.m. And Mr. Kruger said his wife would normally get home around 3, but when he woke up around 4, she still wasn't home. It's a really sad story, you guys. Okay, so let's wrap this up. So you're probably wondering what Nico got for his sentencing, right? You probably already know what the answer is going to be. A 3-judge panel sentenced Nikko Jenkins to death 4 times for 4 murders, nearly 4 years after his summer killing spree. He also received nearly 400 years in prison for the remaining charges, which is his sister, Nikko Jenkins, was also convicted of murder, the murder of Curtis Bradford, and she received 100 years additionally for all her other convictions, including robbery and use of a firearm to commit a felony. She also, while doing time in Douglas County Jail, assaulted 3 guards, and a York County judge added 20 and 40 more years to her sentence because she attacked her cousin, Christine Bardot, by putting a padlock inside of a sock and beating her with it. Nico's mom, who was 48 at the time, was also charged and convicted, and she is now serving 30 years in Douglas County Jail for when Nico was released in 2013 for prior crimes in 2003. They had a release party, and during that barbecue party, whatever, his mother gifted him the gun that would turn out to be the murder weapon on all these charges. And so, of course, his mom was hit and convicted for that crime. And last but not least, Christine Bardot, which is the MVP of this entire story. Christine Bardot only received 35 years in prison, which I think is pretty serious because 35 years is still in her prime, and she only got a robbery charge. The judge, Mr. Peter Battalion, said, "The court is extremely mindful of the cooperation she's provided. Without her willingness to step forward, it would have been very difficult for the state to have convicted any of these people." So that was just a wrap up of everything. Thank you for joining me. Have a good night.